do you have reason to believe, to suspect, or indeed to conclude that there is a political directing mind? In other words, that this vaccine mandate is actually coming from the same source as, for example, the Ministry of Transport order or the other federal such orders directing other people in the public service, the federal public service, to be vaccinated?
Yes, I do. I have no doubt in my mind that this came from the Prime Minister's office. Part of the evidence or the support to that belief is that we seem to have a real trend where General Vance was Chief of Defence Staff when vaccines first emerged. He didn't bring in a mandate, and as you recall, he was removed under the cloud of a sexual misconduct allegation. Admiral MacDonald then took his place. Within a few weeks, he was under a cloud of suspicion for sexual misconduct because I've seen his briefing note, and it clearly states that he could not bring in a mandate. General Fortin was in charge of vaccine rollout in Canada. I suspect that he also said you couldn't bring out a mandate, which through the sworn testimony from the Peckford hearings, the Prime Minister's office was clear that this was coming from the Prime Minister, who was angry at being heckled and demanded that a mandate be brought in. That's sworn testimony from his office. Mm-hmm. So then we get General Fortin accused of sexual misconduct. We then have General Eyre come in as acting CDS at the time. He is given a briefing note from General Cadieux that you can't do this, basically. And General Cadieux is then accused of sexual misconduct. There's a real pattern there, and then he brings in the vaccine mandate. He goes from being acting Chief of Defence Staff to full Chief of Defence Staff, and gets a promotion that I see as a reward for being obedient to higher powers.
So that answer sort of flies in the face of what the Prime Minister said publicly yesterday, that he never forced anyone to be vaccinated.
Yeah, no, well, then he shouldn't have had his office provide emails in sworn affidavits to Mr. Wilson, who represented Brian Peckford and parties in that lawsuit, because that is filed evidence with the federal court that indeed it was a direction from the Prime Minister's office, and then they were struggling to justify bringing in a mandate.